business. I'm sure you're feeling it. Business is hard, and now more than ever, you need to have a plan to help your business not just survive, but thrive. And you can have that with a profitable business as well. So I'm Marcia Reiner. I'm a business growth strategist. I've helped tons of small business owners to establish and implement a tangible plan that guarantees increased profitability, guides your growth, and plans for your future exit. Building a profitable and sale-ready business creates a win-win scenario. That means more money now and a windfall later when it's time to let go. I want to share strategies that I've earned and learned with you on today's Profit with a Plan podcast. But before we get started, I have some exciting news. I've just released my second book called The Profit Accelerator, and I'm looking for a few industry leaders and business owners to interview about how my book's 12 strategies would impact your industry. Please go ahead and download my book and let me know if you'd be interested in being interviewed. It's available for free for the next few weeks while I'm checking interviewees out for your industry information. These strategies can help any business, by the way, increase their revenue, profit, and value of their company without having to pay for additional advertising or marketing. Go ahead and pick up your copy at trajectoryprofits.com/book-download. All right, guys, I'm super excited to have my new friend with me today. Adam Liette is the founder and director of Smooth Operations, which helps entrepreneurs to create the systems and workflows needed to scale online companies. As the director of operations for Musical You, these systems tripled the team size and increased the revenue by over 500% in just 2 years. And that led him to earn the 2 Comma Club Award from ClickFunnels. By the way, that's $1 million. He is a 12-year veteran of the U.S. Army Special Operations and a seasoned authority in psychological warfare. In addition to his professional experience, he holds postgraduate certificate in brand psychology, a master's of business administration and marketing, and a bachelor's of music and education. He lives in Ohio with his wife, Tracy, and his 4 children, and enjoys building furniture in his workshop. So, wow, Adam, you have quite a resume there. I am so excited to have you on board today, and we've had some fantastic conversations offline, so I want to definitely share those with my audience. So welcome to Profit with a Plan.
Thank you for having me, Marcia. It's such a pleasure to be here. I've really enjoyed getting to know you over these last couple of weeks, and you're like the first person I met at Funnel Hacking Live. We just started geeking out ever since. So this is fun.
Absolutely. Okay, so we talk about operations. Where did you come up with this? I mean, how did you get into operations? I mean, I'm sure it wasn't your MOU that you got from the military, right? You had some sort of interest.
Yeah, it all kind of started when I was in the military, and I knew I wanted to get into marketing. But I had a year left, so I started freelancing and kind of found myself in that social media integrator position. And then I was leaving, and I found I loved working online. I was free. It's like the opposite from being in the military. I could pretty much do whatever I want. It was great. And at that time, we adopted kind of that visionary integrator model that's become somewhat famous over the past decade or so. And that worked for a while, but what got me really into operations was seeing the potential, seeing the things that I could do, seeing the impact that I could have in the company and with my team. And once you start drinking from that Kool-Aid, it's a juicy beverage. And it just led me down this whole rabbit hole of learning all about how to be an operator, how to really run and manage teams, and how to see the potential and move my teams toward it.
I love that. Once you're probably singing to the choir here because all the listeners are entrepreneurs or want to be entrepreneurs. So yes, we've all drank from that Kool-Aid very much so, and probably far too often than we should, just because it's such an attractive space to be in. But you mentioned something, and I want to clarify that word. You talk about integrative operator. So explain that, define that for us.
I'm glad you asked that, because it's something I've been on my mind really the last couple of months since I started my company. The way I view the integrator versus the operator, it's about mindset. An integrators are very critical in many businesses. An integrator's the doer. They take that vision and they
Mm,
make it real. And that is, I don't want to discount the role that an integrator has. Integrators are wonderful people that do amazing things. An operator is an integrator with that 10% entrepreneur inside of them. So it's
got it.
that's really the difference. It's we have that vision towards the entrepreneur side, but we're still very much a technician in our daily work. So it's a different mindset and worldview.
I love that because so many of us are visionaries, right? We come into this world, we're like, I've got this fantastic idea. I want to be there, right? And many of us in the entrepreneurial space might not necessarily have that operator or that integrator role ingrained in us. We just have that vision and we're trying to put a square peg into a round hole. So, how does one find out if, where we can get an integrator or an operator on our team to help us implement those ideas?
Mm, I wish there was an easy answer to that.
There's no easy button. Come on.
There's no easy button. No. Um, I mean, the business model I've seen work and what I've seen work with friends of mine is you promote from within.
Mm,
So if you find those people on your team, if you're hiring A players, even at the fractional rate where they're only working 10 hours, 15 hours a week for you, doing things like marketing tasks or other related tasks for your company, you find those people. When we hire a rock star, we know it pretty quickly.
yeah.
And so when you find them, find ways to elevate them. It's actually how, I ended up working myself out of a job with Musical You. I was able to elevate a person that I hired to be my
Mm,
replacement. And it's because the moment I hired her, I was like, you're a rock star and I want to get you full time. I want more of you on the team. And so I
wow.
kept trying to pull her in closer and keep escalating her up the ladder.
Love that. Having team really makes the business run a lot smoother, which is, super important for all of us in growing our businesses is to make sure we have that team on there. But I think the big aha I just got out of here and the vision I caught when you said this is that duh, we need the visionary and we need the operator. So if we're not split personality and able to handle both tasks, we absolutely need to have that operator come in and help us execute on all the strategies and ideas that we have. So I think that that's it's super important. Like when we talk about ClickFunnels, right? Russell Brunson is the front face, but Todd was the integrator, right? Todd's the guy that created the code and all the back end to make ClickFunnels work. And sorry if we're talking ClickFunnels, but we're both from that world. So but I think I see that you need to have a Todd, right? You need to have this
Yes.
person in our business to help us execute on that. And I think that's like mind-blowing for me because many of us we just try and hack it through and keep pushing and pushing and pushing hoping for better results.
And it's a two-way street for what it's worth. The visionary needs the operator. It's like, okay, we actually have to do this now. Okay, let's go. But the operator needs the visionary to keep them looking towards the future.
Mm,
So it's a very symbiotic relationship. The CEO operator relationship is really close. Me and Christopher, the CEO of Musical U, we're still tight. We still josh back and forth because I mean he's closer than family members of mine at this point. I mean, I love my family, but I'm closer with Christopher. It just a natural extension of that relationship that builds over time, even in this Zoom environment that we're all in. Like it feels real after a while. It's just me, but
right. Well,
yeah,
it's that natural other half, right? The yin and the yang of running your business is that operator to the visionary. And business owners, you may be the operator, right? Chances are you've had some sort of visionary that comes in and keeps it going for you and pushing you on that path. It could be the consultant or the coach that helps keep that vision on track as well. Okay, so perfect. Thank you for defining that. I think it's super important that it is an active role and it's a necessary role in our businesses. So how do we cultivate that? How do we get that role working in the, running on all 8 cylinders or at the highest power?
Mm. So, like, talking from like a cold hire, or like
Well,
where,
just
what's our
in
starting
general,
point?
I mean, how do we get that operator? So you have systems and processes that
Hmm.
are true to what makes you a success. How does that explain some of those to us? What kind of processes do we want to look for and have in our systems or in our operator?
Sure. So I'd say like the first process that's kind of critical to the whole thing is the time study. A lot of us are really, really terrible at estimating our own outputs. So I have this system that I've been taught where it's you literally map out every little thing you do throughout a 2-week business period in 15-minute increments. It's
Mm,
super painful to do. But what you find is you're going to look at this time study at the end of a 2-week period and see the opportunities are going to smack you right in the face. So from the CEO or visionary side, it's about identifying what you need to get off your plate and then finding that person to then take on those tasks.
mm,
So that's really the first step of it. And then it's just about creating SOPs, creating workflows that people can then adopt and teaching them. So not just like, here's my SOP, there you go, got it. It has to be a deliberate handover. It has to be an onboarding sequence where, just like a lot of times with our students, with our clients, what do we have to do? We just don't throw them into a course and say, good luck, right? We have
mm.
our group coaching calls, we have our support channels where they can ask questions. You need to do that with your team members as well during the onboarding and offloading process. So it is that continuous conversation, not just, I'm just following a checklist, but I know I actually understand your thoughts. I understand the reasoning why we do something this way. And if I see opportunities for refinement, I'll do that later. But it's about that back and forth communication and just having that open dialogue.
I love that. And if you're a younger company and you may not have those in place, the person that you hire can help you create those SOPs and those standard operating procedures because they're working in the weeds and they can see the steps
Hmm.
and details that they're doing. But I love that idea of taking stuff off your plate and giving it to the ideal person to handle that. And then what that does is that frees up your time to be able to do more. And I think that that's
And
in every single role, right? Not just
yes,
from the top down, but even the person that is in the trenches and they're working through that, if they can do that time study and find out where their inefficiencies are, or maybe where they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing, you can take that off and increase their own productivity by just managing their time better, right?
exactly. And I have a super low tech solution for actually documenting your process that
Ooh,
it's so simple, it's ridiculous. Turn on a screen recording device, like ScreenFlow is what I use, or Camtasia, or whatever you got, and perform an activity and talk yourself through the process.
ah,
So something as simple as posting the weekly social media content. Okay, and now I go here, and now I do this. Something interesting is going to happen during this process. You're going to document it, but you're going to ask yourself about 3 times, why do I do it this way? Feels like it could be easier to do it this way. And so you're gonna have like a version 1 of your process. Be like, okay, that was
mm,
silly. Why am I doing it this way? Then you fix it. You actually are refining your own process. Then you do a version
love
2, and then a version 3, and then you have this walkthrough video. So as far as documenting it, I rarely like will document it like that, but I'll do a video. And so it's that,
love it.
and narrating your way through it.
Well, that's fantastic. I never thought of doing a Camtasia or a Loom or a Zoom or anything that is recording the activity that you're doing. How simple is that? There's no structure, there's no paperwork, and there's no step one and step two. You're just doing it live and someone's watching it. And if
Mhm.
you're doing something on the screen, then you're actually capturing the movements on the screen so the next person can do the same thing and not having to go, oh, first you click here on this little thing here, trying to write it down. That's the hardest part, right? That's
Yes,
what everybody stresses out. And you just made it silly easy. Thank you.
exactly.
That's fantastic.
Keep it simple, stupid. I love the KISS methodology. It's great.
Love it. Okay, so once we have these video SOPs that we can store. And, you know, it's round one, right? Next time you do it, you can record it a second time and make it round two and see if there's two different versions that you did or another step that maybe you realized you didn't have in the first one. But these can be archived. And then
Mhm.
anytime if you're sick or gone or you leave or something happens and someone needs to step in, they can watch that video and boom, now they know exactly how to do it. Wow.
You now have redundancies.
Wow.
We
Backup
can go on
plans.
vacation again, Marcia. It's
What?
great.
What? A vacation? Are you kidding? The whole world will fall apart, or at least it used to. And I
Right.
think that's the exciting thing for business owners is that we dreamed, right? That we would have this fantastic lifestyle of a business owner, not realizing even 5, 10 years in later, we're still working too hard and not having that lifestyle, but having these simple tasks that are duplicatable and what's the word I'm looking for, that you can delegate to, you know,
Mhm.
that frees up your time so you can. Perfect. Yay. Okay. So what else can we do? We've done our SOPs. We've started to, normalize our operations. Where else can an operator really improve the lifestyle of the business?
Mm. It's by harnessing that 10 to 20% entrepreneurial side of them.
Mm.
So I have a business coach, and one of the biggest influences in my life, he's a wonderful man. And he looked me dead in the eye and he said, Adam, what are you best at doing in the company that's revenue producing? So I said, well, I do all of our automations. I do all of our email campaigns. He's like, great. That's really important. You have 30 days to offload that. What? I was shocked. I'm like,
Hmm.
no way can I offload that. That's my baby. I really enjoy doing it. I'm really good at it. We use Infusionsoft, which has a kind of a high learning curve. It's like, I don't care. You have good employees. You've talked all the time about your great team members. Offload it now. Okay.
Wow.
So I did. So I'm going to do what Alex says. You know, it's one of my mantras. When you have a coach, do what they tell you to do. That's why you're
You're
paying them.
paying for it, right? They have
Yeah.
a reason behind it. But my goodness, what was his reason? It's killing me.
His reason was like you hold that so close, you don't see that the thing you hold the closest is actually the thing that you need to get off your desk the most, because
Mm,
that's what's occupying your creative space. You don't have that creative space because you're already occupying it with this task.
mm.
So I did. I offloaded all of it. It was so hard to do until the moment I did it, and then I was like, oh, I don't miss it. This is
Wow.
crazy.
Wow. Okay. And so offloading this really hard task, right?
Hmm.
What did that lead for you? How did that open it up for you? What now are you doing?
Yeah, I suddenly had to look at my calendar and realized that I didn't have to do the promotion. It was being done. I didn't have to do the broadcast emails. I'd have to do the 2 hours a week of just maintenance on the automation task. But I had a gap and I had to do something because I'm a creative person. I'm a visionary in my own right, 20, 30% of me, but that's enough
Hmm.
to really propel you forward. So I just talked with the CEO, said, what are some projects I can get my teeth into? I said, we don't have an affiliate program, Adam. Well, there you go. So I had this 15, 20 hours a week of free time. I launched our affiliate program from scratch because I had this free space. And we ended up doing like over $500,000 extra revenue in 6 months time period from me having that extra space and be able to devote myself to that new revenue stream, which is just, it changed the face of the business overnight just
Wow.
by offloading that task.
Wow. And that makes a lot of sense as you talk through this, that if we all have our best use of our energy and time and value of our time, right? And if your value of your time was stuck doing email campaigns and follow-up sequences and automations, right? That you've been doing for a long time so you knew it inside and out, but then yet by freeing that up, you open the door to an additional $500,000 worth of revenue, right?
Right.
Wow. What could listeners, what could that mean in your business if you were to shift people around a little bit and take that creative energy and put it towards something that's not being done yet because something has already been solved and your problem solver now can move on to the next task, right? Instead of being stuck in the old version. Whew,
Mm.
that's interesting and a different way of thinking about how to be what did you call it? It's an integrative operator, right? So
Yeah, I've
someone
just
that
used the term just operator is what
okay,
I tend to
but
use.
I'm thinking though that there is more to that operator
Mhm.
role. And if you can get them, I think that special operator who has that 20% of the entrepreneurial spirit to them, the doors, like I feel like it's closed now, but it's just opened up for potential, huge potential
Yeah.
to tap into these operators, and get them working in a much more effective manner. Whew,
And
this is
and
good
also
stuff.
just, I mean, being around entrepreneurs is infectious too. So if it only just frees up the time for them to go take a course here or work with a mastermind here or go to this event, like if it just frees up the time for them to do that, that energy is infectious, as we all saw
Mm,
2 weeks ago. I mean, you
right.
come out of something like Funnel Hacking Live ready to kick down the doors and take over the world. And if you've never been in that space before, you're feeling that energy for the first time. That's real. Okay. We had, and when I was a special operator, so I'm talking going back to Army days,
Hmm.
um, our training for that is ridiculous. It's really, really tough. Washout rate is like 85% don't make it through the training. It's
Wow.
hard, but it has to be because the lifestyle is very, very hard and very, very strenuous. But we had this like sign we walked under every day on the way back from training. It just says the brotherhood starts here.
Mm,
It's like thinking about that entrepreneurial brother and sisterhood we have. I mean, we were walking over that under that sign every day at Funnel Hacking Live, and it's those little triggers that we get, and that being around other people that are like-minded, it puts us in a new direction. It shows us the potential, and that potential might have always been there in the back of your head. You just needed the social validation that you weren't crazy, that you are all right. There are other people like you. You might have been suppressing that in your employee mode where
mm,
you're just like, just put on my blinders and just do my 9 to 5.
right.
When you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's a beautiful thing.
That's fantastic too, because I've been talking to another group about hiring and building culture and so on, and I think that that's something that's really important in the people that you bring on is that you bring on those folks that aren't employees, that aren't looking for a paycheck. They're looking for a place to belong, right?
Yeah.
A place to fit in so that they can really become who they want to become and become more, and your company benefits from that moreness that that employee or that team member brings on. And I think that comes from the mindset and being in environments like we just were at with Funnel Hacking Live. But it also you don't have to go to a Funnel Hacking Live just to get that kind of energy and mindset. You can get
Mm-hmm.
that and create that in your culture, as long as someone can lead that and pull that in. But
Yeah.
I love that because we need these operators inside of our company because they're task driven, they're organization structured, they're doing tasks, but you've got to sprinkle that we'll call it fairy dust, pixie dust over them to get them excited in moving and creating the machine that moves your business forward is the only way I can think about it. Am I on
Yeah.
point with the you guys are the machine, the operators are the machine of the business? Is that pretty true?
100%. We manage the day to day. I know I'm winning as an operator if my CEO has no idea what's going on today, but he knows that it's taken care of,
Mm,
and he's already concerned about next week. So it's a Tuesday, he's already thinking about next week or next month.
love it.
That's how I know I'm winning. He lets me handle the day to day. I only come to him with concerns, problems, but even that's few and far in between. When you're in the seat for long enough, of course, you have to cultivate that. It's that relationship that develops over time. I would say my long term vision, if I could change the world right now, which is I want to create like this community of operators because I think it's such a great role. And I think operators supporting operators is like you get multiple operators in the room and we're gonna break something in a good way. Break it to fix it, you know what I mean? And then that's what I'd love to do long term. Definitely stepping stones to get there, one company at a time right now.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And I think that, you operators are your own beasts, right? You're your own thing. Um, but you're absolutely essential to the structure of every business out there. And I think it's an important awareness. Maybe we're on the awareness campaign today that owners need to have operators in their company that can manage the tasks, that can get the jobs done, they can see fit. And that operator couldn't necessarily be the sales team, right? That they're
Mhm.
operating the tasks that achieve the sales, or they're the delivery system or the client management system, or there it's just so many different operators that are engaged in every leg of your company. And I just love it, and it's so necessary to have on there. And I think that we forget, we entrepreneurs that have to wear all these hats forget that I need the help. And that's the first person that I would look to now, is who's going to be the operator that you're going to bring on that's going to help alleviate the problems that you have and get the systems moving and the engine running smoother in your company.
Mm. The final thing it really does to bring that culture fully together and coalesce it is operators are people person by nature. We like to be around people. We like to help people. And so when you have a strong operator in your team, that's the linchpin for your team members.
Mm.
So you as the operator, you're the hub, and it can be kind of an uncomfortable place to be at times. But the important thing to always remember, if your team members are complaining to you or coming to you with problems, like they actually don't want you to solve them. They just want you to shut up and listen. Like they just need to get it off their desk and they're like, okay, I got it all fixed now. And I can't tell you the number of times I've been thanked for fixing something that I did nothing. I just sat there
Mhm.
and listened. But being that active voice or being that passive listener that just sat there on the Zoom call and just asked the right probing questions to my team members, they got off their chests and, oh, great, that really helped. Okay, let's go. All right, fantastic. So it provides that glue. As one of my mentors told me, the visionary, the CEO, is the intellectual and motivational leader of a company. They're
Mm.
providing that vision and telling everyone how, let's go, Hayo Silver. The operator is the emotional leader of the company. They're
Mm.
providing that emotional support to the team. So when you have a solid operator, your team has that emotional support, and it's like everyone's wrapped in a big operator blanket, and it's a
Love
it's a
it.
wonderful thing to have, and I'm so happy
Love
to
it.
have been doing it as long as I've been doing it.
Nice visuals, operator blanket, right? And that
I might have
becomes
just
the
made that up. I just
no,
made that
but
up.
it creates the hierarchy, for those that maybe couldn't see them beyond the person that's just the doer. It could be, and it can very well be, that middle management or the management of the team that you're looking for, because that's what's needed. You get the operators in the position of being the technicians, but then you get the operator, the technician, as they rise up to manage the team for you. So
Exactly.
love it. Wow, Adam, this has been really enlightening. This has been great stuff. You've opened my eyes up and have me thinking differently about certain team members and making your business run a lot smoother. Where can listeners find out more about you?
I'm so glad you asked that. So I do have a podcast as well. It's called the Smooth Operator Podcast. So it's on all the major directories. You can find me on the web at www.adamliette. That's ADAMLIETTE.com. There is a link to get a free consultation on that site. But I offer a coaching package for people that are interested in even starting from nowhere. We don't have an operator yet. We'd like to get one. I have a coaching program to take you from zero to hero and bring on the operator onto the team and get all the cylinders firing together.
Love it. So needed. It really is. And listeners, this is an important, as you mentioned, linchpin in your team to have that operator on board. And I think that this might be a new term for many, but I think you're starting to see the necessity of the operator and how that person pulls it all together for the operations of your company. So go get Adam's go find out more about Adam on there. So I hope you listeners, I hope you found an idea or two to put into your business to help you become more profitable. I know I have. And don't forget, now it's even more important to focus on growing your business. This is a key time of the business cycle with the recession coming on, with the changes coming, getting out of COVID, all these things. It's super important to focus on growing your business. So don't forget to get my second book called The Profit Accelerator. Again, I'm looking for a few industry leaders and business owners to interview about how my book's 12 strategies would impact your industry. Please go download my book and let me know if you'd be interested in being interviewed. It's available for free only for the next few weeks while I'm interviewing industry leaders. These strategies, by the way, can help any business increase their revenue, profit, as well as the value of their company without having to pay for additional advertising or marketing. Go pick up your copy at trajectoryprofits.com/book-download. And as always, Adam and I would love to hear your questions or comments, give us your feedback. Tell us, do you have an operator, or have we opened up your mind to the fact that you now need an operator, and what would you have them do? Comment in the podcast notes or in the podcast thread, and we will respond to you. While you're at it, please subscribe and get future podcast episodes coming your way. And as always, you can catch Profit with a Plan on any of your favorite podcast players. And we're looking forward to more great profitable information on next week's shows. So until then, make your plans and profit with them. Thanks so much, Adam. This was fantastic.
Thank you, Marcia. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for everyone listening. This is so much fun to be able to share, and good luck to you in your business. I know that we're all heart-centered entrepreneurs. This all comes from a very big passion. So I feel that with you, and